This morning on DC News Now, partly cloudy wind and cold weather across the DMV, tracking how long those chilly gusts will stick around. And cold weather affecting water pipes in Maryland. The latest on water main repairs across Montgomery and Prince George's counties. And unusual thefts in the district. Neighbors advising caution after packages stolen by someone in an Amazon jacket. Plus, fences going up around D.C. for the inauguration.
So it gives and it takes away sometimes.
Local stores say the extra security and large crowds could affect business. And time up for TikTok?
TikTok is my number one engine.
Local creators share how the looming ban could affect their lives.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, good morning and thanks for starting your morning with us here on DC News Now. It is 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. I'm Tanaya Wright.
And good morning. I'm Shanika Grimshaw. In for Corey James this morning, we have meteorologist Brittany Ward here to cover us on this weather here. We need a bunch of covers because it's going to be really cold.
Extra covers.
Yes.
Extra covers. I had the fuzzy socks on last night, so overall it definitely was a cold start. So if you are stepping out the door right now, make sure to bundle up. We're tracking below the freezing mark across the entire DMV. We're sitting at 24 degrees right now in the nation's capital. You're at 20 degrees as you head over there to Manassas, 18 currently there in Hagerstown. You're sitting at 15 degrees right now in Cumberland. Now you factor in those wind chill values. This is what you want to dress for when stepping out the door. This is what it feels like on your actual skin. It feels like 14 degrees right now in the nation's capital. It feels like 6 degrees there in Hagerstown. It feels like 0 degrees there in Kaiser. It feels like 5 as you head over there to Winchester. And these wind chill values, they will be sitting in the teens to 20s as we head through much of the day today, but we are tracking a warm up in that 7-day forecast. So keep it here. We'll have a full breakdown of that and what to expect, guys, coming up.
All right, Brittany, thank you. It's now 6:01 on this Wednesday morning. WSSC is still working to fix several water main breaks across Montgomery and Prince George's County, and these frigid temps are not helping.
They are definitely not. The water company says it's seen hundreds of breaks and leaks since the start of the month. Our Tosin Fakile is in the Suitland area this morning where crews worked on a break. So Tosin, how could this impact getting the work done? It is cold outside. Brittany said today's the coldest day of the week.
Yeah, this frigid temperatures definitely are not helping, but these crews are powering through because they're literally going from one water main break to another water main break. Officials told us that crews were here on Deanna Drive at about 11 o'clock last night working on a water main break. And here's some information about what's been going on since January 1st. Since the beginning of this year, there have been 255 water main breaks the WSSC has been dealing with. About 220 of those happened this week alone. They tell us right now there are about 50 water main breaks in Montgomery and Prince George's County. And this is something that crews are working hard to fix. Officials say the breaks and the leaks are not uncommon for this time of year, and it's not necessarily a surprise because they monitor the Potomac River, and when the river temperature hits a new low, there's an increase in water main breaks and leaks that happen a few days later. Now, since the beginning of January, the Potomac River temperature has dropped about 15 degrees. WSSC says none of the breaks are quick fixes, and it takes time to repair buried infrastructure.
By the time we expose the broken pipe, understand what type of repair we're dealing with, it's about 4 to 6 hours from that point. And as I just explained, there's a lot leading up to that. So it is a process. Know that we are working as quickly as possible around the clock to repair service.
Now, Reagan says they have extra equipment on standby and emergency contractors ready. And here's the thing with the water main breaks that people don't think about. It's causing ice on the ground. So when that water leaks out with this freezing temperatures, that's something that crews also have to deal with and something we have to deal with when we're out about. Another thing to note as crews are working to fix these water main breaks, they're reminding people to be careful and drive slowly around work zones. WSSC says one of their employees was recently hit while in a work zone. That person is expected to be okay, but they're reminding you to be careful around these work zones. Coming up in an hour, you'll hear more about what is causing these water main breaks, especially at this time of year. For an hour live in Prince George's County, I'm Tosin Fakile. Back to you.
Thank you, Tosin. Well, 6 people forced from their home in Northwest after a fire. This happened at a home on 9th Street in the Brightwood area yesterday. No one was injured, but the cause of that fire is under investigation. And Fairfax County Fire and Rescue say one person was injured in a house fire. This happened last night on Long Pine Drive. Fire crews were able to put out that fire. The person was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Fire crews are now investigating what started it.
All right, also in Virginia, we're learning more about what happened in the moments leading up to a deadly home explosion in Sterling last February. A new report claims Loudoun County first responders did not have a full understanding of what was happening on scene when they were heading there. They were also caught off guard when the incident escalated from a routine gas call to an explosion. Officials say they were delaying in relaying critical information, impacting the effectiveness of response efforts.
Or a lot of radio traffic because everybody's trying to communicate at one time, asking for help, trying to rescue the 2 trapped firefighters that were trapped in a basement. So a lot of critical communications were trying to take place, and there wasn't enough people or even radio channels established at the time to handle it all.
Firefighter Trevor Brown was killed in the explosion and 13 other people were hurt.
And a Montgomery County high school student now facing disciplinary action after bringing a BB gun to school. Now, this happened yesterday at Wheaton High School after another student reported the gun. The student was then searched, and that's when they found the weapon. The principal says that she's going to review the code of conduct to see how that student will be punished.
And the suspect has now been identified in the shooting that sent 3 MPD officers to the hospital. According to D.C. police, 45-year-old Derek Williams engaged in a gunfight with officers in an apartment building. It happened near Union Market early Monday morning. Williams was shot by officers in the lobby of the building. He then died at the scene, and police were originally called to the scene after neighbors reported a man with a gun in the building. All right, 606 D.C. police are investigating an unusual package theft in Northwest D.C.
That's right. New video shows what looks like an Amazon delivery driver dropping the packages off. Take a look at this. Someone else also wearing an Amazon jacket appears to take off with some of the items. Our Daniel Hamburg is in Cleveland Park with the story.
Take a look at this Amazon delivery driver loading packages to the Cleveland Park Cooperative. Neighbors here got the confirmation photos he took, but this other woman dressed in the same Amazon outfit followed behind him, holding 2 packages. She lingered on her phone as he did his job. He even questioned her.
That's your call? No. That's your call? No.
But he left, and a minute later, she opened the door for an accomplice to steal about 10 packages.
She tells the guy, I told you it was a lot of packages. She proceeds to walk over to the packages, grab as much as she could, walks out the door, and he takes the rest, and it shows her putting them in the car.
One of the packages stolen was a $200 snowblower Amy Alvear bought for the building. She's warning others to be vigilant.
Be very cautious if you know you're going to have deliveries, see if they can be signed for.
Alvear contacted Amazon and got the items replaced, but she places blame on the company.
They need to take accountability of what's going on. The trust factor is gone there, and then you guys just cover it up. Oh, well, we'll just send you the new stuff. Well, how much money are you using?
Now, to be clear, we don't know if the woman was an Amazon employee, though she was wearing an Amazon jacket. An Amazon spokesperson says they are looking into the incident and are working with D.C. police to support their investigation.
And preparations for Monday's presidential inauguration are well underway, with security measures going into place across the district. Roughly 30 miles of anti-scale fencing going up around the federal buildings and roadways in the downtown area. Yesterday, crews installed panels along 7th Street. Meanwhile, some in the area are calling it frustrating. Mayor Muriel Bowser warned residents of the upcoming impacts during a security briefing this week. For business owners in the impacted areas, the fencing and road closures can be bad for business.
It's hard when all these barriers go up for us to convince people to come out and find us. It honestly kind of looks like we're closed.
Now, that timing on road closures will vary throughout the day on Monday, and we've got a full list of the impacted roads on our website at dcnewsnow.com. House Speaker Mike Johnson says flags will be brought back up to full staff for Inauguration Day, then lowered back to half staff the next day to continue the 30-day national mourning period for President Jimmy Carter. All flags across the country will return to normal on January 28th. And Metro announcing more stops will be closed on Monday for the inauguration. Both Pentagon Station and Pentagon Transit Center will now be closed as well. For a list of all of those Metro changes on Monday, we've got you covered. You can just go to our website again. That's at dcnewsnow.com. And continuing our Metro coverage, Metro now asking for comments on their fiscal year 2026 budget.
Yeah, there is an online survey available, and there will be meetings for a public hearing. Now, those meetings being hosted in February. The budget will be just under $5 billion and may include things like extended weekend hours, additional peak service on the red and silver lines, and payment being available by credit card at the gates. All written comments are due by February 10th. And WMATA expected to release its Metro Rewind this morning. Metro Rewind is a public transportation version of Spotify Wrapped. It was called WMATA Wrapped last year, and it shows riders how many trips they took as well as how many stations they visited. A new feature in this year's thing is it's going to show you how your use of public transportation is helping the environment. That is pretty cool. I bet lots of people are going to like to see that.
I know.
All right, it is coming up on 6/11 on a Wednesday. Controversy over BYOB in Montgomery County.
That is bring your own bag, and neighbors weighing in on that law that would ban single-use plastic bags in stores. Plus, communities across the DMV reflecting on their snow removal efforts, how they plan to tackle the next snowstorm after many say they fell short of expectations.
But first, we are taking a live look outside. Brittany, it's a very chilly start to our Wednesday.
Yeah, bundle up before heading out the door. We are tracking below freezing temperatures across the entire DMV at this hour. So keep it here. We'll have a full breakdown of the forecast and what to expect coming up after the break.